Good day, dear friends, dear Manfred, Mr. President, congratulations for your re-election and such a convincing vote yesterday. Dear Alberto, thank you very much for the excellent organization of our Congress here in Valencia. Dear Ursula, dear Roberta, dear Prime Ministers, leaders, members of the Parliament, MEPs, friends and colleagues. It's a great honor to address you today at our Congress at a crucial moment for Europe and a crucial moment for the world. Last year in Bucharest, I announced another victory of my party, Croatian Democratic Union, at the Croatia's parliamentary elections in April 2024. And we won. And therefore, I'm standing in front of you as a Prime Minister in my third consecutive mandate, thus strengthening the number of the leaders of the EPP within the European Council. In Bucharest, I also said that we shall give our share of contribution to the success and the victory of the EPP in the European elections. And we did. I personally carried the HDZ list, and we won half of the 12 Croatian seats in the European Parliament, increasing them from 4 to 6, and helping Ursula and Roberta to remain at the helm of the European Commission and the European Parliament. Congratulations. Over the past 9 years, my party has promised to the Croatian citizens the message of credible policies. We said we shall ensure the needed political stability, we shall have sound public finances, we shall make our efforts to have steady growth, and we have decided to gradually catch up with the countries of Central and Eastern Europe that joined the European Union 10 years ahead of Croatia. In 2020, in times of COVID pandemic and 2 devastating earthquakes in Zagreb and the Sisak region, we said we will keep Croatia secure, and we did. We ensured the social cohesion, we saved jobs and created new ones, we subsidized energy costs for households, businesses and institutions, we lowered taxes, increased wages and pensions, built the LNG terminal and joined Schengen area and the Eurozone with a lot of help among you, our EPP friends. In 2024, aware of the devastating consequences of Russia's aggression against Ukraine, ensuing energy crisis, economic and social tensions, inflationary pressures, migratory and security concerns, we said we will be strong enough to confront all challenges, and we are managing. Second highest growth in the European Union last year, 3.9%, diminished ratio of public debt to GDP to 57.4%, budget deficit 2.4%, inflation 3%, highest employment ever 73%, and lowest unemployment ever below 5%. Investment A level of the credit rating with all 3 agencies, and leading the transformation of Croatia from 62% of average development in terms of ratio GDP per capita in 2016 to 77% today, and with the aim to have it at 82% in 2028 at the end of our third mandate. That means that the catching up policy has functioned thanks to our efforts and thanks to our transformative reform process. Today, dear friends, the world is changing dramatically. Russia's aggression against Ukraine has put in question all the values that we stand for here in Europe and that we stand as EPP. It has hit the foundations of our security and put in question the international law and the multilateral order. Croatia, once a victim of brutal aggression, similar but not completely like the Russia against Ukraine, understands the pattern. And the pattern is actually pretty similar, and it repeats itself. There is the narrative of the necessary denazification. There is the narrative of the endangered minority. Then there is the logic of the self-proclamation of the autonomous self-republics. And then the so-called liberators come. Exactly the same pattern happened to Ukraine. And that's why we have strongly supported our Ukrainian friends. I support all the political parties that are present here today. We shall stand behind you economically and also militarily, because your fight is fight for Europe's freedom, for European values, and of course for your Batkivshchina. Therefore, great respect to all Ukrainians here. Croatia will stand by you as we have stood over the past 3.5 years. Regarding the EU enlargement, let me emphasize that we are a strong and staunch supporter of the enlargement of the European Union, both when it comes to the European perspective of the countries in Southeast Europe, as well as perspective of Ukraine, Moldova, and also hopefully Georgia. In that respect, we hope that Bosnia and Herzegovina will make strong advances. I congratulate Borjana Krišto for her reform-oriented activities as the President of the Council of Ministers, and I also hope that we as the EPP group shall help the political forces in Bosnia and Herzegovina to ensure the change of a new and just electoral law that will ensure the legitimate representation also of the Croats as equal constituent people in the presidency of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Dear friends, we are now in Valencia after this huge outage of electricity. It has turned our attention on how important the connectivity is, how important the investments in the grids is, how important solidarity and the well-functioning of our electricity system across Europe is. We shall do our best to contribute to it and increase it at the Croatian level, but also with the ambition to help our neighbors if the necessary situation requires. On defense, I think that we are finally creating Europe that will not be portrayed as a paper tiger, but a tiger with strong defense capabilities, with strong strategic autonomy, with more investments over the next couple of years that will be interoperable, compatible, and create a strong Europe of defense. Thank you, Ursula, and to your commission with the Defense Commissioner as an EPP promise of last year, and we must all make sure that the rearm Europe becomes a reality. Croatia has acquired 12 Rafale jets as a signal and respect for the technological equipment that is produced in Europe. We should also do our maximum to ensure the borders of Europe, prevent illegal migration, stop the smugglers, and make sure that the Schengen functions very well. In terms of competitiveness, growth, and cohesion, I will just say, before the new debate on the multi-annual financial framework from 28 to 34, that we must all connect competitiveness with cohesion and agriculture. Some of us still need more assistance to catch up with those who were stronger and lived in democracy for decades, but we should globally do the effort to make Europe more competitive with the other parts of Europe. In that respect, energy security is critical. We are not at all sovereign when it comes to oil. We import 90% of our oil. We import in Europe 85% of our gas. We import 45% of the coal. That means that we need to ensure supply sources in the right way and also make sure that we continue the transition towards the renewable energy. We should also reindustrialize Europe and make sure that the legislative process is more simpler and that we alleviate burden to the businesses by the great simplification process that has started. My final point is on a most critical danger for all of our nations, and that is the demographic deficit. That's why I'm very happy that Ursula has once again given Dubravka Šuica, our commissioner, the responsibility for demography at the European level, linked with affordable housing. I think these two elements will be those criteria that will, in the future electoral challenges, be evaluated by our voters. So we should do more for stopping the negative trends, gradually moving them into a more positive direction. I wish our Congress in Valencia great success. As we have said in our documents, the EPP has always shown to have the right compass and the right orientation for the future of Europe. We were among the founding key political parties. We have to remain the key political force in the new challenges that we face as Europe, as European Union, and the whole world. Thank you very much.